name is Chris, and welcome to today's Dodge Save Mart 350 here at the Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California, at the Wine Country. This will be the last race here with the Fox intro, and this will be the last race before we head into the NBC portion of the season. So let's go ahead and also take a look at the point standings for the final time as well. As we have Zachary Smithley still retaining the championship lead over Jeff Burton, his team boss and his owner, hit by only 125 points. We got Ryan Newman in third, Jimmy Johnson fourth, Ricky Rudd in fifth, Bill Elliott in sixth, Jeff Burton, who won last time out of Michigan, in P7, Jeff Green in eighth, Matt Kansas in ninth, and Kurt Busch rounds out the top 10. So we're going to see today here at good old Infineon if the point standings are going to shake up, and they just might. But the only way to find out is by going on ahead and going to the starting lineup for the start of today's race. So here we are on the starting lineup, and let's go through the grid and let's see where every driver is starting today. As we have in row number one, we have Zachary Smithley, who started last in the previous two races, wins the pole for today's race, and to his outside it is none other than his boss, Jeff Burton. Row two, you'll find Jerry Nadeau and Scott Pruitt, who makes his first appearance since the Daytona 500 and his first appearance since the All-Star Open. Row number three, you will find Ryan Newman, who is on a need of a bounce back as of late, and Jamie McMurray. Row four, you'll find Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin. Row five, it is Kurt Busch still searching for that first one of the season, and Bill Elliott to his outside. Then row six, Robbie Gordon, who's been pretty good on road courses as of late, and Jimmy Johnson to his outside. Row seven, you'll find the RCR teammates of Kevin Harvick and Jeff Green, who is running really well in the championship standings inside the top 10. Harvick, though, looking to get inside the top 10. Row 8 today, you'll find Ward Burton and John Andretti. Row 9 today, it is the rookies of Casey Mears in the 41 and Larry Foyt in the 14. Row 10, you'll find Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. Row 11 today, you'll find Tony Raines, who got a top 5 finish last time out at Michigan, and to his outside, Ken Schrader. Row 12, it is Tony Stewart and Ricky Rudd. Row 13, the good old friends of Matt Kenseth, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Row 14 today, Johnny Benson and Michael Waltrip, who hasn't been on a string of good races as of late, but hopefully today it'll be a bounce back for him too. Row 15, you'll find Bobby Labonte and Greg Biffle. Row 16 today will be Kyle Petty and Jeremy Mayfield, who came so close to winning last time out of Michigan. Row 17, you'll find Dave Blaney and Steve Park. Row 18, it is Dale Jarrett and Kenny Wallace. Row 19, last week's winner, Jeff Burton and Top 09 to his outside. Row 20, it is Mike Skinner and Joe Nemechek. Row 21, we have Boris Said driving the Net Zero Pontiac today in substitution for Jason Keller, who wasn't going to be able to make it to today's race. And to his outside is Elliott Sadler. And round of the field of row 22, it is Ricky Craven. Then we have the four D&Qs for today's race. It is Jimmy Spencer, Shelby Howard, who tried making today's race, Derek Cope, and Kirk Shelmerdine. So two rookies, unfortunately, did not make today's race. And Shelby Howard was hoping that he'd have some luck on his side with him, maybe, just maybe, getting into today's race. But luck, unfortunately, just wasn't on his side. And then we have the track information. So the pit window is actually going to be towards the end of the race, as this is a 27-lap race. And the pit window is around lap 22 to 27. Tires will be around lap 25 to 27, depending on how good you can savor them. Fuel, you will have about 5 laps of fuel left in the tank until the end of the race. So from lap 22 to 27, maybe around there will be a good time to pit for fuel. We're going to be making not only just left turns, we're going to be making right turns today as well, as these drivers, since this is the first road course race of the season, they're going to have to get used to making some right turns as well. But another key factor racing here at Infineon is that you got to be easy on the throttle. You always have to be easy on the throttle everywhere you go. But here today at Infineon, if you can get a good run out of the corner, you got to ease on the throttle and hope that you can get a better launch off the corner, kind of like F1. But however, NASCAR doesn't really have the downforce like F1 does. But we're going to see who's going to be the easiest on the throttle and who's going to take advantage of certain situations. And again, a question we've been asking pretty much all season, will we have a new winner or will we have a new multi-time winner? As so far, we've still got 3 drivers who have won more than one race this season. And those 3 drivers are Zachary Smithley with 4, Jeff Burton now with 3, and Ryan Newman with 2. And then you got Bill Elliott with 1, Jimmy Johnson with 1, Jamie McMurray with 1, Greg Biffle with 1, Jeff Gordon with 1, and Dale Jarrett with 1 win. So, will any of the 6 drivers, I should say, underneath Burton, Newman, and Zach get their second win of the season? Or will Newman, Burton, or Zach grab another win for them? Will Newman get his 3rd win of the season and his 1st since Vegas? Will Burton go back-to-back from the back of the field? Or will the pole sitter and current points leader, Zachary Smithley, get his 5th career win, and not only that, but his 5th win of the season? Well, we're going to go on ahead and find out today. But since this is our last time with the Fox intro, this is also going to be our last time where we're going to send it up to Mike Joy, Larry Mack, and DW to lead us the green flag until next season. So, boys, go on ahead and take it away.
We're going to go green this time after 2 pace laps. You see them coming down this chute into the paperclip of turn 11.
But we're going to pay close attention to this pit window right here because it's a fairly short race. Darrell, you talked about it earlier. Short pitting, being on pit road, and hopefully a caution comes out after you pit. It's a 2-stop race.
Got to use a different strategy here than you do anywhere else, Larry.
Well, boys, last time on Fox this season. Here we go.
DW, last time I get to tell you, buddy, 13 quarters, pull them belts tight.
Let's go racing, boys. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Gear shift them things.
As they exit turn 14, Zachary Smithley will lead the first lap here at Infineon. And he actually he went a little bit wide in the hairpin, but he was able to get a nice launch off and get further out ahead of Jeff Gordon. But Gordon, as a matter of fact, he didn't really lose that much time to Zach because he's still technically with him, but they are putting distance on 3rd place Scott Pruitt back there. As they head up through the uphill section, they head down towards turn number 5 with Zachary just leading out ahead by a good margin over Jeff Gordon. And then we'll head a little bit further back. You see Scott Pruitt and Jerry Nadeau going at it. You see the Penske teammates of Rusty Wallace and Ryan Newman are actually battling it out for 6th place. So looks at the inside. Newman actually got 6th, but he wanted to go for 5th on McMurray. Don't think they made any contact, but as they head through the S's now, going to see what Newman can do. And he kind of backs out of it, and they kind of go single file through there. It's always key to go through single file through the S's section of this track because going side by side normally doesn't work. As you see up ahead, Jerry Nadeau actually went to the outside of Scott Pruitt. Cut back in line. A little bit further back, you see Jimmy Johnson and Robbie Gorner going at it still. Robbie in that number 1 car has actually been really, really strong as of late. Ever since Robbie joined that team, got a win in the Open, made the All-Star, got a really good finish. He got a top 5 finish at Pocono, or top 10 finish at Pocono. He's been on a good trajectory. Kevin Harvick, on the other hand, since Charlotte, hasn't been on a good trajectory, but maybe today he'll be able to change that. He got around John Andretti. He's still following his teammate Jeff Green as they head through the uphill section. So they went through turn 1 already. This is the kink of turn 2. They're heading up through turn 3 right now. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, just right behind Casey Mears. And they'll hit turn 4 right here. Jr. goes to the inside. He actually might be able to complete the pass. Here's turn 5, as a matter of fact. It says Sonoma turn 3, but we all know that's turn 5. Head down into turn 6, as a matter of fact. I was actually 1 corner off earlier, but turn 6, Jr. still on the outside of Casey Mears. Looks like he's actually going to be able to complete the pass as they head down into turn number 7 before the S's section. See Tony Stewart and Mark Martin back there along with Ricky Rudd and Matt Kenseth. As they head through 8, go through 9, get through turn 10 a little bit. Now they're heading down towards the end of the straightaway. See Matt Kenseth back there trying to start getting some good finishes. He actually just rockets around Ricky Rudd as they head through 11. Well, that might actually be turn 12. Yeah, that's actually turn 12. But as they head down to the hairpin, the hairpin's turn 13, so these drivers got to be very, very careful. There you see Michael Waltrip at the 15 back there looking to make a move on Greg Biffle. He actually tags the wall, but they come out of turn 13. Rudd ahead of Kenseth will keep the spot, and then the little kink at turn 14. And that's essentially a lap around Infineon and how the track kind of works a little bit. The drivers are going to get used to it quite a bit. Matt Kenseth actually goes really, really wide up through turn 2 and into turn 3. There's actually some damage. Dang, there's a big hole in not only just Jeremy Mayfield's car, but also Kyle Petty's. He must have smacked the wall or made contact with the driver. We can actually see it again. Yeah, there it is. Right underneath their numbers. You got a big hole right there. See Bobby Labonte right behind Steve Park. Actually behind them, Todd Bodine and Dale Jarrett are going at it. Bodine actually missed last race at Michigan. He gets passed by Jarrett. He's actually going to get passed by Dave Blaney at the same time. They head on down into 7. There you see Boris Seb making his way through, passing Kenny Wallace. Got a number of fast cars right behind him, notably Elliott Sadler on the 38. And Ricky Craven, who actually got a top 5 at Michigan last time out, and also who won last time out at Michigan, Jeff Burton. So he's in last, and there's Zach heading up through turn 1 and turn 2. Or actually heading up through turn 2, as a matter of fact. Now the right-hander of turn 3. You can hear when Zach shifts up because the RPM limit spikes every time he shifts, so you can actually hear it. As he went up through turn 6, though, he doesn't. The thing we noticed about Zach, he doesn't shift through 6 and 7. Or rather, he doesn't shift up through 5, 6, and 7. Mainly shift down, though. He tries to shift down at least through turn 7, but as he heads through the S's, there you see Jeff Gordon. He's actually coming through turn 7 right now. Zach enters 8, through turn 9, then turn 10. Excuse me, turn 11. I keep getting them wrong. My bad. Heads down the straight a little bit, right into turn 12. Yeah, Zach's doing a pretty good job. He was actually pretty worried going into this race because he didn't really know how he was going to fare against all the other drivers, but he blitzed everybody in practice and then even in qualifying to grab the pole. Now he's just blitzing the field here today at Infineon. You see Jeff Gordon is exiting turn 13. Zachary coming out of turn 14. Continues to lead. You see Zach, he's just flying through these corners. It's got a lot to do with the fact that his dad, Christopher Smithley, is in Formula 1. His dad may have had a little bit of say and a little bit of help towards his son to get through this track and get through these corners and how to do some road racing. Good old father-son relationship brewing between the two of them, which is always nice to see in the world of motorsport. See, further back, Jerry Nadeau, actually, as a matter of fact, he's still ahead of Scott Pruitt in the 39. Pruitt's having a really good run in that Target Dodge for Chip Ganassi Racing. Jerry Nadeau's having a pretty good run in that U.S. Army Pontiac. Newman's having a pretty good run as well. He's still maintaining a top 5 position. His teammate, Rusty Wallace, on the other hand, he's kind of formed a little train behind him that begins with Jay McMurray in the 42. He's got Bill Elliott, Kurt Busch, and Robbie Gorham behind him. You see Jay McMurray actually goes to the inside of Rusty. Gets it nice and easy in there, and he gets to the position. He grabs 6 off of Rusty. So this is essentially the battle for 6. Like we said, as you head through these S's, it's a pretty good idea to maintain a single file pace. We're further ahead to Scott Pruitt in the 39. Scott Pruitt's had a pretty interesting season thus far. He competed in the Daytona 500. He didn't reappear until the Winston Open. As a matter of fact, he actually did well enough in the Open to make it into the second segment to compete for a shot to race into the main show. However, there was a little mistake and a little miscommunication on his part and his team's part because he thought he was out of contention to run for the Winston. However, he drove his way back to pit lane, and he unfortunately gave up his shot to compete in the Winston. So it was unfortunate for Scott Pruitt, but he is here today, and this is a points-paying race. So this is something that he's definitely been looking forward to. Is this race? He's actually looking forward to Daytona as well next week because he's going to try to compete at Daytona next week, and we're going to see how well that goes for him. Jerry Nadeau, on the other hand, he actually didn't compete in the Daytona 500 earlier this year, but this time around, though, he's actually going to be able to. I think he's actually going to be comfortably in the show, so that's actually going to work out for our good old pal Nadeau. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon still trailing second, and there's Zach still maintaining the lead over all the other drivers. Doing a pretty nice job through these corners. So you just heard him shift up to second. As he shift up to third as well. At 20 to go. Zach just blitzes through these corners like no other. Very slow up through turn 3. It seems like that might be what Zach wants, is to be a little bit slow going up through that corner. He enters 4, then the right-hander of 5 grabs a little bit of the curb, but not too bad, though, not too much. That you're doing pretty good with that 80 car. For a rookie, I have to say, he's doing pretty good. But like we said before, he's probably got some help from his dad, who probably gave him a couple tips on how to race these racetracks. And Zach is using all of that ability right here, right now. Through the S's section he goes, just nice and smooth. You got to be nice and smooth, not only just throughout any part of the racetrack, but you just got to be nice and smooth coming in and out of these corners. Got to be smooth on the brakes, smooth on the throttle. Might even have to trail brake at the same time. And trail braking is when you get on the brakes and as you're coming out of the corner, you gradually get off the brakes, and as you're doing that, you gradually start going on the throttle. So it's kind of like a half and half kind of thing. 50% of one side is trying to focus on gradually getting off the brake, and the other half is trying to gradually get onto the throttle, and you got to master that, and that should work out. As you see Jeff Gordon trailing behind by quite a distance in second place, but also another distance to Jerry Nadeau in third. Looks like Newman's actually catching Scott Pruitt. He might challenge him for fourth here in a little bit. It might just depend, though, as we have no idea if Newman's really going to take advantage of the opportunity to go at it on Scott Pruitt, but if he does, he might try to grab the spot, and Newman does look like he has a fast car. That LSL Dodge really hasn't been there pretty much the last bit of spring. But as we head into the summer months, maybe that'll be Newman's bread and butter. As he looks to the inside of Pruitt, realizes he can't really get to the inside and make a pass, so he tucks him back up behind him. He might try a different corner. He might try down here in turn 7. Looks like he's going to. Yeah, he backs out of it right at the last second, but it was enough to where Pruitt and Newman, as a matter of fact, did not make any contact, so that works out. Gotta watch out, though, because McMurray in that 42, he's catching him. Bill Elliott, as a matter of fact, got around Rusty Wallace in the 2. Wallace is not having a good race so far. We look further back, the RCR teammates are still near each other. There's Jimmy Johnson. And there's the DEI teammates of Robbie Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Seems like Robbie's trying to teach Dale how to run this track a little bit. Dale Jr. really hasn't been the strongest on road courses, but maybe with the alliance that he's got with Robbie Gordon being a part of the team, maybe that'll help him out a little bit. This hairpin, a lot of drivers have been making contact with that wall. Seems like they get through it all just fine. But Robbie Gordon, we were kind of expecting him to be up near the front in that Pennzoil Chevy. Maybe not today, but definitely, I'd have to say, come Watkins Glen, he might be able to be up there and be a contender for race wins and whatnot. We'll just have to wait and see as we look further back to Casey Mears, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd. There you see the Roush teammates of Biffle and Kenseth, Tony Raines. There's Michael Waltrip, as a matter of fact. He's the only driver not where his teammates. Easy He's the third DEI driver, there we go, that isn't up near his teammates. And matter of fact, Waltrip just hasn't had the same results as his teammates have had. Robbie Gordon, in all honesty, has been more successful, or has had more better finishes, I should say. Not successful, but more better finishes than Michael Waltrip in the 15 has had so far this season. So that might be a big problem for DEI in the coming races if they can't get that 15 car to compete at the same level as, say, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Robbie Gordon have been able to compete at. But as they head through the S's, he's just trying to trail Dale Jarrett a little bit, but we look further ahead. As a matter of fact, to his teammates, Robbie Gordon Johnson actually tagged the inside wall. Robbie Gordon is actually going at it on Jimmy Johnson. Johnson, I think, may have some damage on the right side. He kind of does. He's got a little bit of a hole that formed on the right side of his car when he tapped the inside wall. That gives Robbie Gordon the advantage to take the position away. Dale Earnhardt Jr. might try to get the Hendrick driver Johnson. Meanwhile, Johnson's teammate Terry Labonte is just right behind him. Robbie just telling Dale Jr., that's how I got around Jimmy. Now you got to do the exact same thing. As he's going to trail Jeff Green and try to maybe get after Green. Jeff Green, his old teammate, and his old team. Look even further ahead, McMurray's actually caught Ryan Newman a little bit, and Pruitt's actually kind of driving away from Nadeau for a little bit there. As there you see the gap between Nadeau and Gordon. Gordon's pretty much out of the S's as Nadeau went into the S's. And there's Zach. And there you see Gordon back there coming through turn 13, and Zach going through turn 1. Zach just continues to fly, but we are seeing a lot of the drivers behind him continuing on with their lap. Meanwhile, Zach is just able to maintain control and keep the advantage ahead of everybody else. This might be another race where Zach may just dominate and lead every single lap. He did it back in Martinsville 2 weeks after the Talladega race, so maybe today he'll do it again. Who knows? Who in the world knows? Well, we're going to find out what'll happen. See Zach making his way through turn 7 and now hitting the S's section of the track once more. Zach really struggled with the S's section during practice, but he was able to get it down during happy hour. And he got it down in qualifying as well, and Zach's just been on it ever since. Rise the rumble strip a little bit. We'll hear him go down into turn 13. Seems like the car did not want to go down into first gear. Maybe it did go into first. Nope, it didn't seem like it went down into first gear at all. That's another thing that Zach's been having problems with, is getting his car to shift down from second to first. It's been shifted up into reverse a lot, and that's something that he does not want to keep on doing, but he keeps doing it. He can't really do a whole lot. And there you see Kenny Wallace, as Zach is actually closing in on Kenny Wallace in the 23. Zach, I think, is coming up through the S's section. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace is further back. And Zach he's definitely closing that gap in on Kenny Wallace in the 23. But as we look further ahead, you see Joe Nemechek, the 25, he's not having a great season so far. His teammates are all inside the top 20, almost top 25 in points. And unfortunately, he's about to be part of the drivers that maybe after today that's going to be on a part of the go or go homers bracket. Maybe something will change, who knows. But as you see, Michael Waltrip actually going at it on Bobby Labonte in the 18. Waltrip trying to take advantage of it. He's going to be side by side going through turn 1 and up to turn 2. And into the right-hander 3. He's able to actually pass Steve Park and Dale Jarrett. He's going to keep this momentum going on Bobby Labonte in the 18. As he heads through 4, he gets him. And the right-hander at 5. Good job to the 15 of Michael Waltrip. He actually got the spot on Bobby Labonte. He see if he could hold it through 6, and it looks like he will. It's actually further back. You saw Dave Blaney going to the inside of Steve Park. He actually got the spot on Steve. A little bit further back, Labonte's going to go back at him after Michael Waltrip going through 7. And he actually gets the spot coming out of turn 7 as they head down into the S's. So Waltrip, as it looked like he was making progress, unfortunately just wasn't able to capitalize a whole lot. There you see Jeremy Mayfield still ahead of the Roush duo of Biffle and Kenseth. Both cars, not a whole lot of damage on it. Biffle's actually got some left front damage, but Doesn't have a giant hole inside of his car like Mayfield does. As you see Mark Martin going at it on Jeff Burton in the 22. Oh, Mark Martin actually tagged the wall. Now he's actually got some right side damage because of it. Now he's got a hole in the side of his car underneath his number 6. As Ward might be able to take advantage of it, and he does as they head up into turn 3. As we look further ahead, Dale Earnhardt Jr. actually got passed by Terry Labonte in the 5, so Terry's actually putting on a good showing so far. Trying to get up to his teammate Johnson, who is still behind Robbie Gorin in the 1. Robbie Gorin is still trying to get after the 30, but it seems like Jeff Green just might be that much faster than Robbie in the 1. However, though, this does work out in the favor for Robbie Gorin a lot. See Jeff Green trailing behind Kurt Busch and his teammate, as Scott Pruitt, as a matter of fact. He is just barely ahead of Ryan Newman in the 12. Pruitt's lost a lot of time to Jerry Nadeau in the 01. Just look further back to Bill Elliott making a move to the inside of Jay McMurray to grab the 6th position off of McMurray. The guy actually got a really nice launch coming out of turn 13 to get the spot on McMurray. So now he's up to 6, trailing Ryan Newman for 5th. We're going to see how that all kind of goes and how that's all going to kind of shape up. Because maybe Bill might be able to take it to the 12. We'll see. We'll see if he can. We'll see. He's actually closing the gap on Ryan Newman. Newman's losing some time to Pruitt up ahead. Maybe Newman is just trying to back off a little bit. Maybe give some breathing room for not only himself, but here comes Bill Elliott to the inside of Ryan Newman. Newman holds it. But Zach is actually coming around to get to lap 16, so we're going to continue a trend that we've been doing since Pocono. We're going to go ahead and do a one-lap tribute to the late Greg Biffle as the battle between Newman and Elliott continues. As we have head to 11 laps to go, that was the one-lap tribute to Biffle. Like we said before, we'll continue to do that until the end of the season, as Zach is still doing pretty good. As with 11 laps to go, he's actually still to catch in the back of Kenny Wallace in the 23. Kenny Wallace is not that far ahead of Zach, and Zach's just able to get through these corners that much more better. They continue a hard charge up to the back of the pack and try to get him a little bit. Zach actually says he's actually kind of seen the back of the field. But he's just slowly etching his way up there. Not trying to force the issue, not trying to push his car anymore. Once he comes back around, actually, as a matter of fact, he's got 11 to go. I mean, even if a caution comes out or if he makes a mistake and Gorin goes on to take the lead off of a restart or something like that and leaves the rest of the race, well, Zach still gets 10 bonus points because he's led the most laps. Or he gets 5 extra bonus points, so he'll get 10 points at the end of today, mainly because he's led the most laps. Yeah, there they are. There you see the lap traffic. There you see Gordon. He's all the way back in the S's, and Zach's coming into turn 14, or coming off of turn 13. Zach is super far ahead. Well over 30 seconds ahead of his team boss. Coming to 10 to go. Combining the success of Zach and his team owner, Jeff Gordon, they've accounted for 5 wins so far this season, with Zach getting 4 and Gordon getting 1. So maybe, just maybe, a 5th one will come to Zach, as actually Bobby Labonte is slow. What happened to Labonte? He's actually got quite a bit of damage, it looks like, on the right-hand side of his car. And he's really slow on the track. He may have the right front might be bent in. He may have made severe contact. Oh, man, he could not turn it right there. He almost caught the wall. He's also trying to keep it to the left side of the track, get out of everybody's way. He's actually scraping the wall. That car just does not want to turn. Heading through the grass. Gordon here sometime soon is actually going to be coming up to Bobby Labonte. So actually, I think Gordon's coming around to turn 7 right now, as Labonte is still super slow. I think that was Gordon back there that was actually coming down into 7. Labonte's still keeping it to the left side of the track. There you see Gordon. Labonte's trying to come out of the S's section while Gordon's coming in, and he's now halfway. He goes to the right-hander. Labonte's still staying as far to the left as he can. Gordon doesn't have any problems getting around him, and he'll get him. He'll pass him just fine. But man, not the result that Bobby Labonte wanted to have after today. So you see Nadu goes by him. And we'll hope that Bobby Labonte actually makes it to the pits. So look further ahead to Zach and Kenny Wallace. Zach is actually catching Kenny by quite a bit with 9 laps left in this race. Kenny, I think, has some damage on the right-hand side, but also Zach's just able to catch it because he's getting through these corners a lot more faster than these other drivers can. As Kenny does have damage on the right-hand side, we are being told that Bobby Labonte did make it to the pits safely, so that is very, very good. It's just a horrible end of the day for Bobby Labonte. He was actually having a decent run, but now it all goes up in smoke and it all goes up in shambles for Bobby Labonte. Now this is going to be interesting for Zach, because Zach has been out front for pretty much for all 19 laps essentially, and this is the first time he's actually going to have to maybe pass some drivers. As we head down into turn 13, Zachary actually gets on the brakes, and he actually goes way deeper into the corner to make the move to the inside of Kenny Wallace, and he actually did a pretty good job to keep it off of him and not make a whole lot of contact. And Zachary Smithley puts his first car lap down as he heads to 8 laps to go. There's Bobby Labonte coming out of the pits. Ooh. Zach didn't really know where Bobby Labonte was going to come out, but also the pits really doesn't go as far can't really go any more further to the left, so it's unfortunate that it was going to be unfortunate if Zach and Labonte made contact. Thankfully, though, they didn't. See if I have Mike Skinner's actually going to try to maybe go at it on Boris Said, but Boris actually keeps the spot. First time of the season that Zero car doesn't have any rookie stripes on it, but probably at Daytona it will. Look further ahead, Zach trying to get to the outside of Skinner. Doesn't look like it'll work. Zach's just got to be patient. He can't really force the issue on any of these guys ahead. He knows he's got a fast car. He doesn't want to ruin his race and bring out a caution or damage his car any bad to the point where he might not be competitive. As he goes right to the inside of Skinner, they make a little bit of contact. They actually kiss for a second, and Skinner holds it, but Zach gets a better launch coming out of the S's down into 13, and there he goes. Zach holds it. Oh, but he didn't get into the corner as good as he thought he would. It went a little bit wide, but it's okay. Zach still holds it. Still keeps Skinner a lap down as they now come to 7 laps to go at Infineon. Zach has put on a clinic so far, and with 7 laps left remaining in this race, a lot can change in 7 laps. But the main question is, will it be bad enough for Zach to maybe lose the lead to Gordon, who's this far back from him? Gordon is actually slowly gaining time on Zach, because Zach is in lap traffic, and Gordon's just kind of slowly gaining, but so is Nadu in the 01, who's actually gained some time on Gordon behind. If you look further back, you saw a lot of the drivers entering turn 13. Zach is definitely among those drivers. He's towards the back of the pack, but he is among those drivers probably going down in through the S's into turn 13, and Gordon just hasn't been able to keep up with Zach. As a matter of fact, Gordon is actually pretty shocked with the performance that Zach's put on today, and it's something that I think a lot of us are actually shocked that Zach's been able to do. Here's Nadu in the 01, who's actually had a really good race, and if everything remains the same, if they finish where they are now, Nadu could actually be in the top 25. At the start of the season, he didn't even compete in the Daytona 500. He's missed one race, and he is up inside the top 25 if everything finishes out the way it does right now. Scott Pruitt's on for a top 5. Bill Elliott actually got around Newman, so he's in 5th with Newman in 6th. McMurray battling Harvick for 7th. Harvick's going to try to take advantage of any mistake that McMurray will make. Then you got Kurt Busch in 9th. See, back up to Newman. He actually lost a little bit of time to Bill Elliott in the 9. So head through the S's. Scott Pruitt's done a pretty good job to hold on to 4th position. The main question will be, can he hold on to it for the remainder of the race? As these drivers only have 6 laps left in the going. But you got to remember that Zach, he's pretty much the fastest man out here, and a lot can happen and a lot can change. Main question will be, will it change, and will any of the issues happen, or will any of the mistakes happen that a lot of these drivers are fearing, especially Zach, may happen? See, Gordon's actually put some time on Nadu in the 01. Now we look further ahead. You see Zach going through the S's. He's actually ahead of Top 09. He's caught the back of Boris Said. Gonna see what kind of move that Zach might be able to make on Boris here. Burns actually made his way up through the field quite nicely, as a matter of fact. I mean, not as much as he would like, but considering the fact where he started, which was almost last place, I'd say it's been pretty good for Jeff Burton, that 99 team. And you see Zach goes to the inside of Said, and he actually gets Boris Said with ease. Coming to 5 to go. Boris may have backed off a little bit to give the position to Zach, so maybe that's what it was. But Zach gets it nonetheless. Puts Boris Said a lap down. Now look at the gaggle of cars Zach has ahead of him, beginning with Ricky Craven in the 32. Well, Craven actually isn't that close to him, so Zach might be able to pass Craven with ease. It all starts with Jeff Burton necessarily, and that's going to be a little bit worrying for Zach, and a little bit scary because it's a lot of cars that Zach's going to have to try to find his way around. As they head down into turn 7, Zach looking to the inside of Craven, maybe trying to put him a lap down. Said actually got a really good entry into the turn 7. He wasn't really able to do a whole lot because Craven was there. But man, did he get into that corner as fast as he could. But Zach got Craven and he puts him a lap down. Now he's going to try to get into the middle of that giant kerfuffle up there with 5 cars, beginning with Burton. Matter of fact, I think Burton actually has damage on the right side of his car from the looks of it. I think it looks like he may have. Maybe another camera angle going through turn 13. Yeah, it looks like he's got damage on the right side of his car. I think Sadler does too in the 38. You see Zach goes a little bit wide. Oh yeah, Nemechek, Sadler, and Burton all have damage on the right side of their cars, so this might actually be easy for Zach as they head to 4 laps to go. Zach goes right around the outside of Jeff Burton. He hasn't done this all race, but it will work in favor of Zach. Makes the move right around the outside of Jeff Burton in turn 1. The fast left-hander of turn 1, but he gets it done. What a move by Zach. So that's one car that he's had to deal with so far. See Sadler and Nemechek are going at it. This is going to be something that Zach's going to have to patiently wait for. Goes to the inside. He actually gets to the inside of Nemechek quite easily because Nemechek actually went wide a little bit. He's actually going to try to go after Elliott Sadler at the same time as they head through 7. Zach gets Sadler, and now the fight between Sadler and Nemechek's on, but the battle ahead between Benson and Steve Park is also going on ahead of him too. Nemechek gets Sadler. Whoa, Zach almost made contact with Benson. He goes wide a tiny little bit, but he gets back on the track, gets loose, but he passes Benson. Holy moly, Zach with the move around the outside. Once again, 2 cars is passed around the outside. Here comes Benson, though, coming back on Zach. Trying to unlap himself, maybe trying to continue his charge to Steve Park in the 31, but Zach maybe just telling Benson, hey, look, I got a faster car. I got to go. That's exactly what Zach is going to do as they head to 3 laps to go. Puts Benson a lap down and now going after Park. That 80 car is flying today. Zach has made some moves this season that I think has gotten us all up out of our seats quite a number of times. And the 2 moves he's made around the outside of not only Burton, but also Benson are the other 2 that I think will be in a highlight reel for Zach at some point at the end of the year, at the end of the season. As he now sets after Steve Park at the 31. There is a gap all the way up to Dave Blaney up ahead, so Zach's got some breathing room, but there's also another gap past Dave Blaney. If Zach does catch and pass Blaney and put him a lap down, there's another gap up there. You see Zach biding his time, getting through the SS section, following Park, getting a nice run through the corner. Zachary gets to the outside of Steve Park as they head through turn 11. Getting to turn 12, nice on the throttle. Park sticks to the outside, but will Zach get him in 13? Zach actually kind of got on the brakes earlier than Steve Park did, but that was just enough for Zach to get a good run out of turn 13 as they head into the left-hand kink at turn 14. Zach gets ahead of Steve Park, and now they got 2 laps remaining here at Infineon. Zachary Smithley has had one heck of a race today. Wouldn't necessarily say this mimics what he did back at Martinsville, but it is safe to say that he has dominated this race just like he did at Martinsville. And also, he's dominating a racetrack that he didn't even think he'd run well at. But Zach has definitely proved to all of us that against all odds and all expectations, practice makes perfect. You can get around any racetrack with the right amount of practice and the right amount of help. And Zach has done just that. He's well over 30 seconds ahead of his team boss, Jeff Gordon. He's put everyone up to Steve Park a lap down. From last place up to Steve Park. He's actually kind of running down Dave Blaney as we speak and pulling away from Steve Park behind. Zach has had the car to beat today. As he heads down the straight and into turn 13 one more time. Gets on the brakes nice and easily. Through the right-hander, gets a little bit wide, but not too much. Not too bad. As he heads out of turn 14, Zachary will see the white flag one more time in Sonoma, California. Zach has had an amazing race. He came into the lead, leading the championship by only just over 125 points over team boss Jeff Gordon. Zach almost came close to winning at Pocono 2 weeks ago with a runner-up. He finished 20th last time out in Michigan. The last 4 races, he's finished inside the top 3 times. He went to victory lane 3 races ago at Dover. It was almost 2 races ago at Pocono. However, his tires faded away towards the end. But today, Zach has been able to save enough fuel and savor his tires really, really well to not only keep passing drivers, but continue getting through these corners like nobody else can. As he comes into turn 13, he actually gets on the brakes a little bit later. He actually gets to the inside of Dave Blaney. He's actually going to put him a lap down. But Zachary Smithley rounds turn 13 as he heads through turn 14. Career win number 5 goes to Zachary Smithley and Infineon. And even though Zachary will win the race and Gordon will finish in second, Zachary will still gain 15 points on Jeff Gordon coming out of today's race. What a drive and what a performance from Zach. Oh, man. What a job well done for that Napa Chevy team. 5 wins in the first 16 races of the season. Coming out of Daytona, this is not where Zach thought he would be, but as we head back to Daytona next week. Zachary Smithley so far leads the points and is on top of the world. Congratulations to Zachary Smithley on the win. And it don't really get any better than that, let me tell you what. But we'll go on ahead and take a look at the finishing results coming out of today's race. So, Zachary Smithley wins for the 5th time this season, with Jeff Gordon finishing in 2nd. Jerry Nadeau finishes in 3rd. Scott Pruitt is a top 5 with a P4 finish. Ryan Newman finishes in 5th. Bill Elliott in 6th. Jay McMurray in 7th. Kevin Harvick in 8th. Kurt Busch in 9th. And Sterling Marlin finishes in 10th. They got Rusty Wallace in 11th. Jeff Green in 12th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a 13th finish. Jimmy Johnson 14th. Terry Labonte in 15th. Robbie Gordon in 16th. John Andretti 17th. Larry Foyt in 18th. Ken Schrader 19th. And Ricky Rudd in 20th. And you got Warburton in 21st. Mark Martin in 22nd. Matt Kenseth in 23rd. Tony Raines 24th. Tony Stewart in 25th. Casey Mears in 26th. Dale Jarrett 27th. Greg Biffle 28th. Jeremy Mayfield in 29th. And Kyle Petty in 30th. Then Michael Waltrip finishes 31st with Dave Blaney 32nd. Steve Park at 33rd. Johnny Benson in 34th. Joe Nemechek at 35th. Elliott Sadler 36th. Jeff Burton at 37th. Boris Said in his first start this season 38th. Ricky Craven 39th. And Todd Bodine finishes in 40th. They have the last 3 drivers with Mike Skinner 41st. Kenny Wallace in 42nd. And Bobby Labonte finishes in 43rd. 2 laps down. Very unfortunate for Bobby. And still we don't really know what happened to him, unfortunately. I wish we did know what happened, but we unfortunately just didn't have the replay for Bobby. So sucks that we will never know what happened to him, as we actually see Zach getting towards the finish line a little bit. Yeah, he might actually be out of fuel. He'll get there. And he got there. Nice. And he parks right there at the start finish line. Nice. Not on top of it, but just right in front of it. So, good job to Zach, but also, the next race will be the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. We head back to Daytona for the 2nd time this season, and the 2nd time's probably going to be just as crazy, if not even crazier, than the first time we went there. We're going to see, though. But it's going to be a different Daytona from what we ran earlier in the year. It's not going to be the 2007 version, unfortunately, and even though the 2007 version has lights, it unfortunately never got coded in that you can run the 2007 Daytona at night. So it's unfortunate, but it's whatever. It works. But that's gonna do it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all enjoyed the video. As a matter of fact, actually no, we're not done. I just now realized I almost ended the video, but we're not done. We still gotta go through the point standings. All right. So yeah, next race is Daytona. So here's the point standings coming out of Infineon and into Daytona. So Zachary Smithley maintains the championship lead, and like we said, he only gained 15 points on Jeff Gordon, but 15 points is still 15 points. Every point matters, as now we head into the last half of the season. Then you got Jeff Gordon in 2nd, Ryan Newman 3rd, Jimmy Johnson 4th, Ricky Rudd in 5th, Bill Elliott's in 6th, Jeff Green's in 7th, Kurt Busch in 8th, Matt Kenseth in 9th, and Jeff Burton in 10th. So Roush have the last 3 positions inside the top 10. That ain't too bad. That ain't too bad for them. You got Dale Earnhardt Jr. 11th, Jay McMurray in 12th, Kevin Harvick at 13th, Bobby Labonte in 14th, Michael Waltrip 15th, Dale Jarrett 16th, Tony Raines in 17th, Tony Stewart in 18th, Rusty Wallace 19th, and Sterling Marlin in 20th. You got Jeremy Mayfield at 21st, Mark Martin at 22nd, John Andretti in 23rd, Jerry Nadeau in 24th, Greg Biffle 25th, Terry Labonte in 26th, Elliott Sadler 27th, Johnny Benson in 28th, Kyle Petty 29th, and Steve Park in 30th. Then Craven's in 31st, Dave Blaney in 32nd, Kenny Wallace in 33rd, Casey Mears in 34th, and Joe Nemechek is in 35th. And then we have Warburton 36th, Robbie Gordon in 37th, Todd Bodine in 38th, Larry Foyt in 39th, and Ken Schrader in 40th. Then Jimmy Spencer 41st, Mike Skinner 42nd, Jack Sprague 43rd, Jason Keller in 44th, Scott Pruitt 45th, Casey Atwood in 46th, Mike Wallace 47th, Christian Fittipaldi 48th, Karen Arara 49th, and Shelby Howard in 50th. Then you got Hermie Sadler 51st, Buckshot Jones 52nd, Derek Cope 53rd, Kirk Shelmerdine 54th, Bobby Hamilton Jr. 55th, Brett Bodine 56th, Morgan Shepherd 57th, and Boris Said is now last in 58th, 49 points, just the same amount as Morgan Shepherd had when he raced earlier in the year. So that is how the point standings are looking like after today's race. Well, it is time to say goodbye to Fox. And it is time to say hello to our good pals over at NBC. So that'll definitely be a fun one, safe to say, when we head down to Daytona. And just want to say thank you all so much for an amazing first portion of the year. And thank you all so much for pretty much a year later sticking by and waiting every single time for me to finish the series. I know I'm just now getting to pretty much almost the halfway point of the season, but when life gets in the way, it's kind of hard to really do a whole lot. But we're doing it more consistently now, so that's what matters most. But yeah, so thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And now we're just going to go on ahead and get to Daytona, and we're going to see how everything goes. So, yeah. And also with us going down to Daytona, that means new things like new intro, new calls to the green flag, and just new everything. And we're going to see it all when we get down to Daytona. Thank you all so much. I shall see you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love y'all oh so very much. And for the final time on the Fox broadcast, congratulations to Zachary Smithley. Thank you all so much. I shall see you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love y'all. And goodbye.